Today I want us to just start with the support services that are available in the Western Cape. I saw there was a message posted here on this chart about the learning support services. I think it's important for you guys to know that. So I'm just going to share. Okay, I hope you can see this. So this is the workshop schedule for learning support services. So when we say learning support services, it is services like facilitation of learning, the division where I come from, where we do academic literacy training to empower students with the skills to be able to pass their modules and be successful in their studies. We also have the Center for Career Counseling and Development. So those services are available to all registered students. If you feel like you are struggling with your studies, you can contact the Department of Career Counseling and Development. And also we have the library services. So the UNISA library is available for you to use, even if you are far from a UNISA campus, you can use the online library. So these are all the workshops that are currently happening. So what you need to do if you want to attend the workshop, you just click on this link and to be able to register yourself. You can also book a consultation with a digital learning advisor or a student counselor, and all the details are on this link. I'll put the link in the chat also. So some of the workshops have already passed, but I think there's still time to catch up. You don't have to attend all the workshops. You choose the ones that you feel they will be beneficial to you. So most of these are online workshops. So today we are on the 21st. Today is the 21st. So there is a workshop, assistance with your My UNISA, My Life email account and library orientation. That is happening today. And they give a link to join the workshops here on this column on the right. But there are other important workshops like Introduction to Referencing is a library training, which you can also attend. I'm sure these workshops are recorded. So the library training, if you miss the training on e-resources, for example, you can go click there and listen to the recording of that session. We also have this one, soft skills in the workplace. You can join if you want to. It's completely free. Student confidence building is another one that I think it's important. So if you are available during this time, 12 to 1, you can join this session using Google Scholar. It's also another important one. And now as we are approaching exam time, I think stress levels will be going high due to the workloads that you guys have to deal with. So this one is also important. Stress less, live more. So in this workshop, they'll be teaching students how to beat burnout and stay balanced throughout the semester. I know some of you are doing 5 or 6 modules, so it will be beneficial to attend that workshop. And also the one about failing forward. If you can, please join that one. They will be teaching you how to turn setbacks into comebacks. So those are some of the interesting workshops that are happening this month. And then in September, there is also the one about employability skills, workplace readiness, because there is the end goal of you studying is so that you can be ready for the workplace when you have completed your studies. So this will encourage students to review their CV and understand how to get the most out of a survival job and develop interview skills. So I think that is an important one. Building resilience. On the 3rd of September, that is also important. And then the more important one is the exam preparation workshop on the 4th of September. So since you guys are doing first year modules, maybe it is your first time doing online exams, but yeah, it's important to attend that workshop so that you can understand what are the do's and don'ts for online exams, how to use the online My Exam tool and the proctoring tools, all of those things, and be prepared for the online exam. So this one is important on the 4th of September, but I'm sure they will have more closer to exam time, more exam preparation workshops. Okay. Does anyone have a question on this workshops? I just thought I should share to make you guys aware that you must not struggle on your own. The services are available as long as you are a registered student. Okay, I will put the link also in the chat so that you guys can have access to it if you would like to attend those courses. Okay, I've put the link there in the document, the workshops. Okay, I'm putting the link here as well for the workshop list so that you can have it as well. Okay. Now, I think we can go to our lesson for today. If there are no questions. So last week, we did the topic on supporting decision services. That was chapter 12 of your MIS book. We talked about the decision-making process and different types of systems that are used to support decisions in organizations. So that was chapter 12. So today we are talking about chapter 13, which is talking about artificial intelligence. Yes, artificial intelligence and automation. That is our topic for today. So if you missed any of the previous sessions, you can catch up on the recordings on the group chat here. If you scroll up, you will be able to find the link to the recordings. So I'm sharing my slides now. Okay, artificial intelligence. So this is our topic for today. Most of you are familiar with our rules of engagement in the sessions, so I don't think I need to repeat that. Just that please switch off your video and mute yourself. If you have a question, just raise your hand, or if you don't want to speak, you can just put your questions here in the chat. Most importantly, you must feel free to participate. This is a safe environment. I've already asked you guys to complete the attendance register. Then at the end, I'll ask you to complete the evaluation form. And if you are having any technical challenges logging in, you can contact the Cape Town Tutorial Center on this email address here with your student number, and they will be able to assist you. So this session is being recorded, and you can also access all previous recordings on this playlist here. I'll put the link on the chat as well so that you guys have it for later. Okay, we started with the learning workshops. I've explained about this. So we'll just go to today's topic, artificial intelligence and automation. So the outcome for today's lesson is to define artificial intelligence and explain how these technologies support decision making. We will explain also an expert system, its application and components, and also describe code-based reasoning. We can also discuss about assignment and exams if you guys have got any questions. But I think the next assignment is still far for INF1505. So yeah, but if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, I'm sure all of you have heard about AI. So AI means artificial intelligence, and it consists of related technologies that simulate and reproduce human thoughts, human behavior, including the way that people think, speak, feel, and reasoning. So over the past few years, we have seen a massive growth in AI. Everything now has got AI. And it's important for us to understand what it is. So for the purpose of your syllabus, you just need to understand the theory of it. and the definitions that are in your textbook. So AI refers to simulation of human intelligence by machines, allowing them to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. So I'm sure you guys have used AI to do simple tasks. Maybe you've used Copilot to help you solve a math equation, or something like that. So AI is now part of our everyday lives, and it encompasses a wide range of techniques aimed at creating intelligent systems that are capable of making decisions and solving problems. So things that would take you hours and hours to do, you can quickly ask AI to help you. We have the Copilot that comes with your Microsoft 365 license. So you all have access to Copilot. You can use it for research, to assist in your studies. You can use it to find information. Maybe you're struggling to understand a certain topic, or you just want it to help you prepare for an assignment. Maybe you need a summary on information systems. You can simply ask Copilot and it will give you that information. So AI uses different techniques and reproduce human thoughts and behaviors and thinking and reasoning and also feeling. Other ones that are more advanced, like ChatGPT, they're able to do a lot of things. They can create images for you, create all sorts of things. There's AI to create videos, to create music, anything that you can think of. Nowadays, AI can do that for you. But for the purpose of our discussion today, we need to know the theory behind it. So these technologies are applied to areas that require knowledge, perception, and reasoning, understanding, learning, problem solving, and cognitive abilities. So these are things that requires a human being to apply their mind in order to do these actions. So the other day I asked ChatGPT to design a healthy meal plan for a South African female of a certain age with specific requirements. And it was amazing what the results came out. So AI is empowered to understand and have reasoning like a human being would. So these days, you don't need to go and pay someone to do certain things. You can just do it for yourself using AI. And more importantly, in business, AI is used to generate knowledge and facts. We have knowledge engineers who enable computers to perform these type of tasks that are usually handled by human beings. So AI capabilities have improved a lot, and it keeps improving. Things that we could not do 3 years ago, now we're able to do with AI. So that is how much it has improved. So can you guys name a few examples of AI that you have used or you have experienced? You can just put your answers in the chat. Anyone wants to try? I've already mentioned ChatGPT and Copilot. Are you guys telling me that you don't use AI? Okay, so we have many examples. You can just do a quick Google search for AI tools, and it will bring you a lot of lists. There is another example, question.ai. Thank you for that example. We also have Meta AI that is now available on WhatsApp. You can use it to ask any question. We also have Google now has got Gemini that is built into the search engine. So that is the type of AI we use every day. You would have noticed that when you do a Google search, this year and last year is different from 2 years ago. Because now with Gemini, it gives you information about whatever topic that you're searching for, and then you get the normal search results like in the past. So that is how AI has been incorporated into the search engine. So there are many other ones out there that are being used, but those are just some of the popular examples. Okay. Applications of AI technologies. So mostly AI is used for supporting decision making. Decision makers use information technologies in making decisions to analyze what is and what if. Last week, when we were talking about the decision-making process, we talked about the different types of systems that are used, like a decision support system and the components of such a system that is used to support decision making in organizations. We also talked about how to design a management support system. You can go listen to that recording. I have also shared the slides here in the chat. But in organization, that is what AI is used for, mostly for structured decisions that follow a specific formula. We gave an example about a bank, the process for loan approval. There is specific criteria that each applicant must pass in order to qualify for a loan. So that is an example of a structured decision. Then other questions like why? What does it mean? What should be done? When should be done? AI is able to now answer these questions. You can ask Copilot, what does decision making mean in organizational context? And it will give you information on that. You can ask any question that you need information on, and it will save you a lot of time that you would have spent doing manual research. So that is how it is applied in organizations. Then these are examples of where AI is applied. This is an example from your textbook. Basically, it is the field of business where AI is being used, and the example organization. So if you can't see on your side, you can just zoom in, or you can open in your MIS book. It is the first table there, 13.1. So for example, in the energy sector, they say AI is used to help pinpoint oil and gas deposits. In government, is used in testing software and to read tax returns and to spot fraud. That is very important. I'm sure even our own SARS uses AI to read tax returns and to detect fraud. It is also used in marketing, telecommunications, inventory forecasting. So inventory forecasting just means predicting stock levels. So most companies are using AI to do that, and it reduces delivery time, and it also increases the inventory turnaround time. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. So this is typically a job that used to be done by a person. So years ago, there would be a person who sits with a spreadsheet and records each and every stock item and have a formula in the spreadsheet that does that, or maybe they did it on a paper form, but now these days is done by AI. And some of the applications of AI is also in manufacturing, where most companies, especially in China and Japan, they are using AI in the factories instead of human workers. So that significantly improves the time that it takes to produce something, or in the assembly lines of whatever they're manufacturing. I saw a use case about a certain car manufacturer that is now introducing a robot in the manufacturing process, so that steps that used to be done by human beings are now being done by robots. But also that also has got an impact on employment, especially in South Africa, where we know that we have such a high unemployment rate. So AI can be a disadvantage because people who are in certain jobs can be replaced by AI and by robotics. So that is just something to think about. Is AI good or is it not good? And up to what extent is AI useful? So that is something to think about. Some key components and concepts that you need to know within AI. First is machine learning. So machine learning is a subset of AI that focuses on enabling machines to learn from data and to improve their performance over time without being explicitly programmed. So AI learns as it receives data. So if you have used Meta AI for a while, you can see that the responses it gives you are relevant to you as a person. So it learns the type of person you are and gives responses that are customized for you. So you can see that it is learning based on the data that you have given it in the past. Can you guys give me some examples where you have seen machine learning being used? If you can think of any. I think a common one would be on YouTube. So YouTube recommends videos to you based on what content you have watched in the past. So they recommend videos similar to what you have watched in the past. Same with platforms like Showmax and Netflix. They do the same thing based on the type of content that you watch. Then they recommend the similar shows to you. So that is machine learning. Also in banking, definitely in banking, machine learning is used for fraud detection. So AI can analyze millions and millions of transactions and see patterns and normal customer behavior. So that is why your bank can alert you if there is suspicious activity on your bank account, because AI can analyze your behavior as a customer of the bank and see if suddenly there is a transaction on your account at 2 a.m. in the morning and you normally don't transact at that time, then the bank sends you an alert to say there's a suspicious activity on your account. Then you can confirm if it was you or not. So yeah, so that is machine learning. Someone is saying V assistant like Siri and Alexa. Yes, definitely. Those are also good examples of voice assistants. Yeah, but I find that the Google one on Android devices doesn't work so well. Maybe it's because of the language or accent. I find that it doesn't work very well, or it doesn't understand the instructions when you are using the voice assistant. But yes, thank you, Abakwe, for those examples. Then Joe is also saying in finance, fraud detection, credit scoring. Yes, definitely. Stock and market predictions. Those are very good examples. Even those who are into trading, there is also a lot of machine learning that is being used there. So you guys understand what we are talking about. I also wanted to give you another example. Apart from in the banking sector, so card fraud. So if maybe you are in South Africa, but all of a sudden there is a transaction done with your credit card, but it is in a in an in a different country suddenly, like maybe you went to Pick and Pay in Cape Town and bought something, then few hours later there's a transaction on your credit card, maybe in Thailand. So AI can easily detect that it is a potential fraudulent activity, and the system will then flag that as possible fraud. So that is how AI is useful. Machine learning is useful in everyday business transactions. So this involves the use of algorithms and statistical models to identify patterns and make predictions or decisions made based on the data. Similar to the decision support system, where we said that it uses data, and there is a decision support engine that interprets the data and uses a statistical model or a mathematical model to analyze that information. It is the same concept here as the decision support system. So the two concepts are related. Then we have deep learning. It is a type of machine learning that uses artificial neural networks inspired by the structure and function of the human brain to perform complex tasks such as image and speech recognition. Deep learning has been particularly successful in areas like computer vision and natural language processing. I'm sure you have done an image search on Google. So that is an example of deep learning. Other platforms use it as well. If you've used Pinterest, it also uses this a lot, where you can use an image search. That is deep learning. So when we are working with technology, it's useful for us to understand what is the functionality that is behind it. So it's fun for us to just click a button and we see all these wonderful things, but behind it, there is a lot that is happening. So that is why we need to understand information systems. We need to understand how computer systems work. We need to understand how AI works. That is the basis of this course. Another concept that we need to understand, natural language processing, NLP. It is a branch of AI that deals with interaction between computers and human language. So it enables machines to understand, to interpret, and to generate human language, making it possible for applications like chatbots, language translation, and sentiment analysis. So most websites these days, they have chatbots doing their basic support. If you go on a website, maybe an e-commerce website, you will see there's usually a chat that pops up asking how I can help you. Service providers like Vodacom, MTN, all of those, they use chatbots for basic service desk support. And only if the chatbot cannot answer your question or solve your problem, then they will refer you to contact someone in the call center. So that is how AI is useful, using natural processing language. So this language makes it easier for human beings and computers to interact. So you can speak to ChatGPT as if you're speaking to a person, and it will respond to you in a simple English language, like a person would. So this is what natural processing language is. Then we have computer vision. It involves teaching machines to interpret and understand visual information from the world, such as images and videos. This is related to deep learning that we spoke about earlier, and it is used in applications like facial recognition, object detection, and autonomous vehicles. So these are the self-driving cars. We don't have them in South Africa yet, but in America, they do have self-driving cars. So that is what computer vision is used for. Then we have robotics. AI-driven robotics involves the development of autonomous or semi-autonomous robots capable of performing tasks in various environments. So these robots may include industrial robots, self-driving cars, drones, robotic companions for healthcare or for personal use. I'm sure you have seen a drone flying, but not seeing where it is being controlled or who is the person controlling it. I know in the movie industry, they use drones a lot. We've also seen in, if you watch action movies, how drones are used in combat situations. So there is the good side and the bad side of technology, depending on how it is used. few years ago, I watched a documentary about how Osama bin Laden was found by the American Marines where he was hiding. So for many weeks, they used drones to do surveillance on the area. And the people in that village had no idea what was going on until the night they decided to go in and capture him. So that is how drones are being used also in the military. And also in healthcare, they are being used. These days, we also have these robotic vacuum cleaners that you can easily buy from Game or wherever. So that is an example of robotics that we use in our homes, everyday life. So technology is part of our lives. We're using AI, even if we don't know it. But since you are studying this course, when you start thinking about it, whenever you interact with computers, with technology, just think about it. What is behind this interface that I'm using? So these robotics perform well at simple and repetitive tasks. So they are useful for simple instructions. If the robot is programmed to pack a box of milk, 6 liters into one box, that is what it will do. That is a simple, a repetitive task. But if you now introduce complexity and say it needs to, I don't know, mix different types, that becomes a complex task that needs to be done by a human being. So yes, robots are good, but they cannot entirely replace human beings. That is where I stand with the whole thing. So yes, there are certain careers where robotics can take over completely. Certain jobs that will disappear in the next few years. In some countries, like in Sweden, they have supermarket checkouts without any cashiers. So as a customer, you can just scan your groceries and the AI will do everything. Then they don't need to have a cashier manning the teller. So that is another example. But I think in South Africa, we are still way behind. So we still have a long way to go when it comes to using AI and robotics. In assembly lines, in Japan, that is where robotics are mostly used, and also in the United States. Okay, expert systems. So these are AI programs designed to emulate decision-making abilities of human experts in a specific domain. They use knowledge bases and inference engines to support expert-level advice or solutions. So one of the most successful AI-related technologies is the expert system, because it can make decisions like how a human expert can make a decision to. So it mimics human expertise in a field to solve a problem in a well-defined area. So maybe in electrical engineering, for example, there are certain things that require human expertise. So an expert system in that field will be designed to mimic human decision making based on the knowledge base. Knowledge base means that there is information built in, like a database of information that this expert system can reference in order to make decisions like how a human being would. So that is expert systems. Do you guys have any questions on this? Does it make sense? Okay. So in your book, you just also need to go and check the components of an expert system. What makes up an expert system? So this diagram here, it is showing the components of an expert system, how an expert system is configured. You can go and read up about that. But as you can see in the diagram, starting from the left-hand side, there will be a different experts where it says expert 1, expert 2, expert 3. So those are human beings who are experts in their respective fields. And then all of that knowledge is taken by an engineer, a knowledge engineer, and put into this knowledge base through programming. So the knowledge base, you can think of it as a database, which is made up of scripts, facts, rules that helps the expert system to make decisions. Then we have the inference engine that uses the knowledge base in order to make decisions like how an expert would. And then we also have the concept of forward chaining and backward chaining. You just need to know the definitions. But just like any system, there needs to be a user interface that the user interacts with. So the user does not see the knowledge base or the inference engine. The user only sees and interacts with the user interface. So as a user, you can ask questions or queries using the interface, and then this expert system will use the inference engine to check the knowledge base and then return facts and decisions based on what is on the knowledge base. So you can also use this to generate reports, and there is also a explanation facility for the report. So this is just the basic configuration of an expert system. They're not going to ask you to draw this diagram. You just need to understand what are the components of an expert system and understand what they do. So they might ask you about the knowledge base and the inference engine. You just need to know the definition and what it is used for. And then the forward chaining and backward chaining. If you have done programming, this refers to the if then else. So in programming, we have what we call decisions, the concept of decisions in programming, where you will have an if statement with a condition. Then if that condition is met, something must happen. If that condition is not met, something must happen. So this forward chaining evaluates the condition and then takes action based on the evaluated condition. I don't know if that makes sense. So that is what forward chaining is. And the backward chaining starts with the goal first. So the user will tell the expert system what is their goal, what they want to do. And then the system will backtrack, work backwards to find the right solution. That is the backward chaining. You just need to know what those two are. Then things like scripts that we find in the knowledge base there. I'm not sure if you can see where the components of the knowledge base, we have scripts, facts, and rules. So the scripts are simply a sequence of events, an order of how things must be done. So you can think of it as a step-by-step process that the system must follow. So that is a script. And frames store conditions that must be evaluated. So that is just some basic knowledge that you need to have. And these expert systems are used in many industries. We've spoken about banking a lot. You can think about the airline industry also uses expert systems. In government, in the security industry. So AI is being used everywhere. In your book, there is an example about the Baltimore County Police Department, where an expert system was developed so that detectives could analyze information about burglaries and possible suspects. So I think that is something that can be very useful in South Africa, given the high level of crime. So expert systems are applicable in all industries. They can be programmed to do what an expert in that field can do and make decisions. That is the whole point of expert system. Do you guys have any questions? You are very quiet today. Okay, thank you for the thumbs up. Okay. Some criteria for using expert systems. So human expertise is needed, but one expert can't investigate all the dimensions of a problem. So this means that with an expert system, we are able to look at other dimensions that a human being would not be able to think of. We're able to come up with a new way of thinking, if I can call it that, so that we come up with different solutions, more creative solutions and better decisions based on data. So knowledge can be represented as rules or as heuristics. Do you guys know what heuristics mean? It is just a term that refers to shortcuts, like what people will use to make decisions or solutions that are just good enough. We don't have to spend a lot of time working on something as long as it is good enough. I think this is what is commonly called rule of thumb. Yes, that is the common term for heuristics, rule of thumb. So let's say you are used to buying a certain brand of um, body lotion, for example. So when you go shopping, usually you will just go for that same brand that you have used before. That is a rule of thumb. So this is what heuristics means. And AI uses this to find the shortest possible way to get to a solution. So let's say, for example, Google Maps. I'm sure you've all used Google Maps to find a place. So the algorithm uses heuristics to give you the shortest path to get to the place you want to get to. It will also show you the alternative routes that are available, but then it will tell you which one is the shortest, also based on other factors like if there is peak traffic at that time or if there is road works. So that is how heuristics is used in expert system. So yeah, I had forgotten about Google Maps. It's actually a good example. So next time you're using Google Maps, then you just need to remember that this is an example of an expert system. Okay. Other criteria that must be taken into account is that decision or task has already been handled successfully by a human expert, and a task that requires consistency and standardization. Subject domain is limited, so that is why we cannot take an expert system from one industry and replicate it in another industry. It must be specific to that industry, specific to that field. The subject domain is limited because it is industry specific, and then decisions involves many rules and complex logic. That is why we need the statistical models and the mathematical models, so that the expert system can be able to make those complex decisions. Scarcity of experts in the organization is another criteria. So if you have heard of the case of ESCOM, where the skilled engineers are now retiring, or most of them have retired, that is where an expert system can be useful to capture that knowledge in the system and train that expert system to be able to make decisions like how an expert in that area would make a decision. So it helps to keep the knowledge in the organizations. When people leave the organizations or go on retirement, where there are few rules, problems are solved better by human experts. That's just something to remember. Advantages of using an expert system. So never become distracted, forgetful, or tired. That is an advantage, because if it is a human being, they do get distracted, they get forgetful or tired. Sometimes people get sick, call in sick, but with a system, you know that it will be there working 24 hours a day. Then duplicates and preserves the expertise of scarce experts. That is an advantage. So the knowledge is preserved in the expert system. It also preserves the expertise of employees who are retiring. That's what I was talking about now, or leaving an organization. This helps to keep the knowledge in the organizations, because in some instances, when a person leaves, there is no proper handover done, or there is no one to hand over to. So an expert system would be very useful in that situation. And it also creates consistency in decision making and improves decision making skills of the people who are non-experts. So those are the advantages of an expert system. Do you guys have any questions up to here? This chapter is quite long, so I'm not going to go through everything. You just need to know the advantages, understand the advantages. Okay, then the next one, code-based reasoning. It is a problem-solving technique which consists of software that is capable of reasoning and following rule-based processes. For example, bots. It matches a new case or a problem with a previously solved case, and its solution is stored in the database. So let's take a simple example of a chatbot that helps users to reset their password, for example. So if you have forgotten your password and you want to call help desk, you go on the website and then you have the chatbot and it asks you, my name is, I don't know. They usually have funny names. Then it asks you, how can I help you today? Then you say, I need to reset my password. So based on that problem that is stored in the database, and it is programmed to know what is the solution for this. If a user says they want to reset their password, you need to perform these steps in the system and give them a message that your password has been reset, or send them an email with a password reset link or something. So that is how code-based reasoning work. And there is no exact match between the new case and the cases that are stored in the database. The system can also query the user for more information to get clarification. So that is why when you are chatting to a bot, you feel like you are interacting with a person in the call center, because the system can query the user for more information. Then, if no match is found in the database, then a human expert must solve the problem. So if the chatbot can't solve your problem, then it will refer you to the call center, or it will give you the number. So I've seen lately with most businesses, they also do this on WhatsApp. They will have a bot answering questions. If there is a difficult question that it cannot answer, then they will just put a message there to say, please contact us during these office hours, and they give a telephone number. So that is an example of code-based reasoning. Okay, are there questions or comments? I know this is a lot of content, but I think you would find it helpful once you start reading that chapter 13 to prepare for the assessment 4. But yeah, I thought we need to go through all the content so that we can then start with the other topics for INF 1520. Okay. Then we have some practice questions. This is simple. You just need to pick the correct option. This is how they ask multiple choice questions in your exam. So you can take this as a practice. So the first question is asking, one of the requirements of a computer that can support artificial intelligence is to, option 1, derive solutions to problems by examining all possible outcomes, or 2, anticipate human needs and respond to them, option 3, communicate non-verbally with humans, or 4, to be able to deal with new situations based on previous learning. So I'll give you a minute to read through that and pick your answer. Then you put your answers here in the chat. Anyone who would like to try? Based on what we discussed, which one of these requirements can support artificial intelligence? I would say option 4, be able to deal with new situations based on previous learning. That is what we said about machine learning, how it is used. That option 1 also looks like it might be correct. Derive solutions to problems by examining all possible outcomes. But I think option 4 is the correct answer here. What do you guys think? Okay, it's fine. We will go with option 4. You can go and double check that in your textbook. Question 2. Which of the following is not a category of NLP system? Option 1, computer code generator, or 2, interface to databases, 3, machine translation, 4, text scanning. Which one is the correct option here? Okay, see option 1, computer code generator. Yes, so if you read the question closely, you will see that they are asking which one is not a category of NLP system. Remember, NLP said it's natural language processing. So, which one of these options is not being the keyword there, a category of NLP system? So this is how they can ask questions in the exam and just put a tricky word like that so that you get confused. That's why it's important to read the question first time and read it again before you select your answer. So thank you for picking that up. Option 1 is the answer here. It is not a category of an NLP system. So you can look this up in your book if you just go to chapter 13 and search for natural language processing, and see what it brings up. From chapter 13. There is also this topic in chapter 2 and 3 where they are talking about different programming languages. But in this case, we're looking for natural language processing. It is somewhere there in chapter 13. Yeah, it is there in chapter 13. So you can go look it up there. But the answer here is option 1. Then the third question, which of the following is not among the characteristics of a sophisticated intelligent agent? Adaptability, collectivity, reactivity, or mobility? You select one. Collectivity, then Tutuko says option 4, which is mobility. Which of the following is not among the characteristics of a sophisticated intelligent agent? So when you hear intelligent agent, you must just think of code-based reasoning. That is what it is. So when we discussed code-based reasoning, we said, just find the slide. It is a problem-solving technique, and it is software capable of reasoning and following rule-based processes. So this is the example of chatbots that I was talking about. So which one of these do not fit that criteria? Adaptability, collectivity, reactivity, mobility. I think mobility is the one that is not a characteristic, because the other three, they fit the concept of code-based reasoning. So the answer here is 4, excuse me, if you're making notes. Are we good with that one? Okay. I think this is the last question. Which of the following is not among the components of an expert system? User interface, credit rating facility, inference engine, or knowledge acquisition facility. Which of the following is not a component of an expert system? Credit rating facility, definitely. So we looked at that diagram of an expert system. It had the knowledge base, the inference engine, user interface, the knowledge acquisition facility. Yes, so those three are correct. So the odd one out is credit rating facility. Well done for that answer. So option 2 here is the correct answer. So as always, you need to read the question properly and understand what is being asked. Okay, so option 4 is the answer here. Okay, do you guys have any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, I just want to remind you guys that I am available for one-on-one consultation if you need help with this module, INF1505, or any of the other first year information systems modules. If you're doing INF1520, I know there is an assignment coming up soon. Or if you are doing visual programming, INF1511, you can reach out to me if you need any assistance with those modules. Also for the computer science modules, course 1511, course 1512, course 1521, you can reach out to me. I'm available on this email address, and also here on the Teams chat. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. Okay, so the last thing that we need to do is the evaluation form. As always, we need to complete an evaluation form before we end the class. So I'm going to put an evaluation form here in the chat. It is a link that you click on and you just answer a few questions. When you open it, you will see it will ask you for the name, to choose the name of the facilitator. Let me just open it and show you. So on this form, it opens a green page. Let me share. When you open it, when you click on that link, this is the page that shows up. And then you must look at the bottom left corner. That's where you will see the start now. It's not very visible because the background is white, but if you click on that start now button, then it will open up this form. Then you just need to complete a few questions. So the form does not collect your detail to say who you are, but you still have to give your student number. This is just for record purposes. And then select the name of your facilitator. So here you will select my name, Tondani Moketsi, as your facilitator. And then which device did you use to join the workshop? You can select whether you're using a laptop or a phone, tablet, desktop, whichever device that you're using to join. Then read the workshop content. This is important for us to know where we need to improve. So you just read the statement and select whether you agree or disagree, strongly agree or strongly disagree. You just need to choose one option for each of those questions. Then if you want, you can provide your reason here. But the fields that are mandatory are the ones that you see this red star. Then you read the facilitator, same thing. You read the statement, select strongly disagree, disagree, agree, or strongly agree. Then you can also provide reasons. Then learning, were you able to learn new things from these workshops? Then you select the relevant option. And then overall, how did you find the workshop? You can put in your comments there. And also question 11, how we can improve future workshops. Then when you're done, you just click submit. So I would like you guys to complete that. I see we have a few minutes left, so I cannot start another chapter now. So let's just do the evaluation form, and then we will stop here for today. While you're doing the evaluation form, I will put the link to the recordings here and also the slides for today. I just want to quickly save it on OneDrive. Then I will share the slides while you're doing the evaluation form. Okay. So I'm putting the link for the slides here so that you guys can have it. Okay. So you can access the slides or download them for yourself to use later when you preparing for the assessment form. But again, if you have any specific thing that you want me to help you with for this module or any of the other first year information systems and computer science modules, please feel free to reach out. My email is there. Thank you, everyone. We will meet again next week, Thursday at 5:30. Have a good evening.